You heard the speech. But behind the glitter lies this stark truth. In Hillary Clinton's America, things get worse. Under her dishonest plan, taxes keep rising, terrorism spreads. Washington insiders remain in control. Americans losing their jobs, homes, and hope. In Donald Trump's America, people are put back to work. Our families are safe. The American dream achievable again. Change that makes America great again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Golden Lunch Productions presents Connecting with Betty Jane Ware Show. Betty Jane is a third-generation seer and highly intuitive reader. She is a practicing witch with over 30 years in the craft. An international psychic, Betty Jane has a number of well-known personalities as her clients. Betty Jane is very much to the point, a natural reader, very intuitive with whom you immediately feel a connection with. Should you have a reading together, you will be calling back for future appointments. Betty Jane is currently working on her 4th book in the Connecting With series. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 if you would like to ask a question to Betty Jane Ware. Enjoy this 1 hour of intuitive readings and healing.
Hello everyone and welcome to Connecting With. I'm Betty Jane. Today we're going to talk a little bit about intuitive or tarot coaching and how to find your life's purpose using tarot. It's one of those things I like to do, and I do offer it on my website. So if you go to bettyjaneware.com, you'll find information on the sessions that I offer. These are sessions that I do through Skype. So just continue and take a look and see what you find. It might be something that you really want to investigate a little bit further once you've explored this hour with me. So with life coaching or finding your bliss through tarot, whatever you want to call it, it's about asking the tarot who we are in the here and now, and how the cards can reflect on the life around you. So there's lots of different spreads and things we can do that. However, I do see that we have a few callers waiting for us, so maybe we should take those first. And 480, I believe, is from Alberta. So maybe we could have 480, please, Tiffany Roz. Hello? Okay, I'm not sure what's happened.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Sorry, my earpiece was off. And so 480, I'm in California, but it's actually an Arizona zip code or area code.
Okay. It sounded familiar. My sister used to live in Arizona, so there you go.
Yeah, awesome.
How can I help you today?
Well, starting a new job at the end of October, first part of November, and it's just a restaurant position. But they're finishing up the details on the rehab of the property and so forth, and I just wanted to get an idea, will they be opening sooner, within the estimate of November 1st, or later, kind of what you pick up around that?
I'm seeing it's a little bit later, but not a long later. I'm thinking like a week or two.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think it's going to be as long as you think. But there's something else going on. What's going on? How come there's a big celebration coming up?
That I don't know, but there also is another job that I'm interviewing for a high-end resort that's almost walking distance from me.
Okay, because I'm getting it's about celebration, goals being obtained, and things like that. So that would make sense. And this other job, it's a better financially for you too. Is that correct?
The first one I was talking about, or the second one?
The second one.
It's really high end.
Yeah.
I mean, really high end. Like, it's one of the top 250 resorts in the world, and celebrities, in Hollywood, buy it out for their weddings, and there's free golf for employees after 1:00. So I mean, and it is within a walk. I could walk home. I don't know if I would walk there, but it's that close, and the other one's about 20 minutes away.
Okay, this is what I'm seeing is going to happen for you. So I don't know if that other one even comes into play. I think that this one that you're about to interview for you is going to be where you end up.
Okay.
Okay. So
yeah, because the director, there's 3 or 4 restaurants within the property, and I spoke with the director last Sunday, and he's like, I see you in this position and this position, and he's just waiting for his general manager to get back from vacation.
Yeah, everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen. Are you in front of house or back of house?
Front of house.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's funny. He also mentioned that the 2 top high-end bartenders are leaving at the first of the year. So it's like
rapid growth and rapid expansion is what I see. Rapid growth and lots of opportunities for you there. So so don't worry if this first one that's not quite finished yet doesn't come to fruition, because I know the second one's where you're meant to be.
Wow, awesome. Okay, because I was debating on free golf and close, or a 20-minute drive in the beach.
Yeah, there you go. I think the golf is going to win out.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And Miss Tiffany Roz, if we could have our next caller, who is 917. I'm not sure where she is, but hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, I'm saying how are you? A little bit of
I'm sorry. There's such a. Are you on? I don't know what you're on, but right now, but I can't hear you. It's really got a lot of feedback.
Oh. Let me see.
That's better.
Let me try moving. I'm so sorry. Is that any better?
That's so much better. Okay, you're moving?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your question?
Hi, thank you. My name's Rebecca. I'm actually calling from, I'm in New Jersey. This is a New York number, but I live out in New Jersey. And I recently went through a pretty painful breakup with my fiance after 5 years. And I'm wondering if you see what kind of energy you see around the two of us now. If there's any hope in the future for reconciliation. I do believe he's involved in some kind of online romance. I don't know how serious that is, but I'm just wondering what you see around that relationship.
Okay, what I'm seeing right now is a lot of dissatisfaction with the circumstances around you, and you have every right to be. But you need to have something more in your life right now, something more emotional, something more for yourself. And I don't believe that relationship will ever give it to you. So I think you need to take action to sort of rid yourself from that situation and move forward.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know it's a long time put in, and I know you're still in love and all of those wonderful things, but I think the outcome for you and with this particular person is not going to be positive.
Okay, so when you say focusing on something else for myself, that obviously is necessary regardless of whether or not he and I have any kind of reconciliation. Do you think that we'll ever be able to have a friendship or have some kind of closure or have, any kind of sort of smoothing out of things, because it just was left so horribly?
Yeah, you're looking for closure. I don't think that you
ever get it.
I don't think you're going to get it. I don't actually. To be quite honest with you, I think you're better off without it in this situation, because you're never going to. There's not going to be any honesty there.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm really sorry. I'd love to tell you yes, you're going to get everything, but no. However, I do believe that the next relationship that you have is really your wish. It's your dream. It's all the things that you want. this is a new beginning, and new beginnings are always disguised as painful endings.
Right, right.
Okay, so your next relationship, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be everything you deserve. This one was just one of those frogs you had to kiss before you met your prince.
I understand. Thank you. Am I allowed to ask if you see any timing on that? Not specifically, but as a year, 10 years,
No, not that long. I'm seeing that there's a time of healing that has to be gone through.
Yes.
It's almost like a mourning. And and then there's a time of okay, I deserve to have fun with, the world. And then it'll be time to settle down again. So you've got I'd say a couple of years, but not forever.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. That really validates and confirms what I felt anyway. So, and I'm taking steps to do some nurturing things for myself. So you've just validated that too. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. You have a great afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. So let's get back to my topic today, which was coaching, finding out where we are. And I'm going to use my tarot deck for now. So if I looked at my cards and I asked myself who I am in my body, and this is my physical body, so it might be my state of health, why I'm overweight, why, maybe it's why I'm blonde. Well, I used to be blonde, now I'm gray. What it might be where my body lives, like my home. It might be why I do the work I do. So let's see where my body is. And so it's all things physical and tangible. So if I pull a card, I pulled the Five of Pentacles. Oops. Fives are always cards that seem to be a little bit on the desolate side. So it is about being a little bit disaster prone in my body. So that would be in my physical aspect. And that actually makes a little bit of sense because for me, I can't go to the doctor. Every time I do, I fail the test. It doesn't matter if it's a blood test or anything. Never anything serious, but always just serious, just a little blip here that you need to work on. And that's absolutely right. So yes, I always worry. Again, you go to the doctor, you failed your blood test, you think you're dying of some horrible disease, but maybe your iron's just a little high, and that happens. Maybe I'm insecure about money or stress, or maybe you've got lots of different things. So that actually makes a little bit of sense. And when you always think the worst of everything, that means you can only go up. So that's a good thing. So let's talk about my mind. So this is a 3-card layout I'm working, and it's going to be body, mind, and spirit. Well, my mind, the mind card, it concerns my mental body, so my intellectual, why I have them. And this is going to help to explain the reasons why I think the way that I do. That might be scary. Or what my thinking process is and the conclusions that I decide upon. Sometimes it's about opening my mind to the message in the card. So let's see here. What do I have? Okay. Well, the Chariot. Yes, my mind is always going a million directions at once. The Chariot's about success, confidence, and determination. And I think I have a fair amount of confidence and determination. Success, well, absolutely. I guess I can be. Depends on how you gauge success. Everybody does it a little differently. I look at it as I've raised 2 children. They're happy. They're healthy. They're not in jail. They're both employed. They're not addicts. So I think I've done a successful job of raising my children. My career is fairly successful, I guess. I have lots of clients from around the world, and I get to do what I love to do. So that's a big success for anybody if you're doing something you love to do and you look forward to doing it every day. So I mean, Chariot's also about victory over lots of different things. It's illness, enemies, problems. It's about achieving goals. It's about great willpower and self-discipline. If I had more self-discipline, maybe I'd stay out of the chocolate. Focusing on the battles and taking satisfaction in the things that I have done and the things that I have done well. Sometimes you can be a little overconfident, maybe a little arrogant when this card comes out. So, yeah, sometimes maybe I think a little much of myself. But it's about establishing a reputation and earning respect. And I'd like to think I've done that. So the card for spirit, let's think about what spirit means. Spirit is the card. Spirit in this spread is the highlighting of my state of my soul. my spiritual life or my relationship with the divine. It doesn't matter who you worship, be it a god or a goddess or a multiple of them. It's about finding your divine purpose or your life's higher purpose. So, hello? That was interesting when you're talking to spirit and all of a sudden something else comes onto the line. So it's a verb in this situation. So it's understanding by intuition. So opening my spirit to divine the nature of my own divinity. Very, very powerful stuff. And I've chosen the Queen of Pentacles. Well, the Queen of Pentacles is nurturing. She's down to earth. She's got that mother energy, that earth energy. So think about somebody that embodies that in your life. Sort of, I guess my kids would always tell you I was sort of that hippy-dippy mother. So absolutely. Always concerned for others. Loyal to my friends and family for the most part. Stable? Well, that's debatable. Dependable? Absolutely. I think I like to help others in need. Absolutely. I'm well organized, maybe not. But some of my friends might tell you I'm a little OCD. But I like to be generous and I like to be sympathetic. So I think that's pretty much got me down. So if I look at them together, where am I right now? Well, I need to accept help where it is. I need to know where to ask. And for the most part, there's big change coming in my way of thinking and my spirituality. But I'm establishing myself. So I think that's good. So let's pull another 3 cards. Maybe this time we'll look at what our strengths are. So I'm going to pull 3 cards to represent my strengths, and then I'm going to pull 3 cards to represent my weaknesses. And if I get a caller, BettyJaneWare.com, or calling into the show today, we can do this for you too. And I'd love to play with someone and maybe do the first 3 questions where our body, mind, and spirit was. So if I'm going to pull 3 cards to do my strengths, interesting that I pulled that 5 of Pentacles again. So maybe my strength is my insecurity. Maybe that is a strength. I also pulled the Magician. I always get this card. It's funny. I always say he's my alter ego. Magician is about having all the tools at your disposal, but not necessarily putting it all together. It's also a bit of a risk taker and an overachiever, can be, but lots of powers. Maybe not always using them all to the best. It's both very creative and go with the flow, which, considering I'm a fire sign as a Sagittarius, we're a mutable sign though, so it means absolutely that is very much a part of who I am. My other strength card that I pulled is the Knight of Swords. That's usually about a man about to enter my life. Well, that could be any number of people. Somebody who is disciplined and confident, good hurt, a planner. So maybe it's somebody that's going to help me on my way. Don't know why this is showing up. Maybe he is me, though. Maybe that putting that into me, it's someone who is going to help me out on my journey, and maybe knowing what I want to achieve in the next 6 months to a year, that this actually makes sense. Maybe it's telling me that I am going to invite the right people in. So before I go on to my weaknesses, I'm going to take caller number 203. Hello? 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 How are you today?
Exactly.
How are you today?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
And who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Soraya.
And how can I help you today?
Today I wanted to see if you can get in my energy space and tell me a bit about the presence that I'm feeling around me.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of that.
I'm sorry. I was asking if you can get into my energy space to see what presence I'm feeling around me and how I can best use it if it's friendly.
I'm not feeling anything malicious around you. I do feel that the spirit that's around you has a bit of, I want to say, an impish quality, so maybe a bit of a trickster, but I don't feel like they mean you any harm. I think it's a good person. I think that they have, I think they are challenging you in some ways, and I think that you need to be right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I see some challenges.
You on your toes.
Yeah. Is this like a childlike energy?
Absolutely. I use the word imp, so yeah, very mischievous, not trickster, but very much likes to challenge and what's the word? Likes to challenge and a little bit of chaos around you. But again, it's not troublesome. It's just that childlike energy that wants to, fights for control sometimes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do, because I had a dream 2 weeks ago about a young child just walking into my living room while I was sleeping within my dream, and I got scared and upset because I'm there like, how you end up coming in and I thought I was doing proper spiritual work for protection, because sometimes I know I get sensitive and pull things to me that I shouldn't. And, in that dream I kind of felt insecure, so I've been feeling that lately.
Okay. So what you need to do when you're working is you need to make sure that you work protected. That's telling me that, and you said it, that you need to be the person that sort of protects. And maybe right now, especially after we just had the black moon and we're coming up, it's October. We know that the veils between the spiritual world and the world of reality is very thin right now. So this is a time to take extra care in when we do our protecting. Okay. So really work on that over the next few weeks, and I think you'll find that things clear up for you, and try and get your life back in balance. I think it's suffering a little bit there right now.
Yeah, I've been working on that. It's true. I've been working on it.
yeah. It's going to escape you for a little bit longer, but I see that it will come. I'm getting 2, so I'm thinking 2 weeks, 2 months before you sort of get things back to where it should be.
Okay. Do you see any job openings for me? Because I've been trying to look for work. Well, I shouldn't say trying, but I've been applying.
Yeah, I'm getting. Again, I keep getting 2s, so I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's 2 weeks or 2 months. I keep getting 2s, and I think that it will happen for you, but I also don't think you've looked in the right space for where you're supposed to look. So I think that the job offer that you're going to get is going to come from a friend or not a coworker, a friend or somebody that you know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I will continue to listen on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So I don't know if I want to do finding out what my weaknesses are. I like to think I have none, but I'll pull a card or 2. Well, probably 3. Cards for weaknesses. It can be any number of different things. I pulled the 4 of Wands, and it's about. So if you pull the 4 of Wands, it's about creative goals and projects to be completed. Well, yeah, I've always got a lot of those. Maybe I should really complete 1 or 2 of them. Interesting that I pulled the Chariot again. Well, maybe it's telling me I am getting a little overconfident and arrogant. Maybe I haven't quite earned all the respect that I need to. Oh, I also pulled the 3 of Pentacles. A good time for a new project. Well, just told me I had to complete a project. What do you mean I need a new one? But maybe it's about business opportunities, and maybe it's telling me again that if I want to get this project off the ground, that I need to really work on it and get it and really do all the aspects to it. So, Missy, I have a email or Facebook message from somebody asking me to pull cards for them. So we will do it, and we will pull 3 cards for her body. what we will call a card for the body. And again, this is going to tell us something about her, what her physical body is, state of health. She got the Knight of Wands. Interesting. So confident, sexy, seductive, attractive, full of energy, always in a rush, a lot of nervous energy, excellent at starting projects. Sometimes, I wouldn't say this is necessarily true, but sometimes, maintaining the project long term is a problem, but very passionate, very enthusiastic, very emotional, and really is understanding of others. Well, I would say that would be absolutely in this situation. And don't you love it when you're working from home and somebody walks by with a leaf blower? Okay, so let's pull one for her mind. Let's see, how intellectual is she? Well, we pulled the Nine of Pentacles. So what does that tell us? Well, it's about money and possessions are safe if you are cautious. So, honey, be careful. This is your own intellectual thing. So it's a time to choose cautious and disciplined in your outlays right now. So that's where you're thinking. This is your thinking card. So if something sounds too good to be true, it is. So really trust yourself and don't trust a lot of financial advisors right now. They may not know what's best because you know your wants and needs better than most. This is also a card that tells me that there's a possibility of a large sum of money coming your way. Well, that would be lovely. Just don't think it's coming from me, honey. And let's pull a spirit card. I don't know if some of you realize that I'm actually pulling for my Tiffany Roz here, but let's talk about the spirit card. So spirit is the highlights of the state of her soul. Oh, and I pulled the perfect card because this actually, I've never met this woman, but the Sun. What a great card to pull for the state of someone's soul. She's got personal magnetism. She's successful. She's in good health. Yes, I hold her in high esteem, and I think most people do, but also people around her do, and the people that she chooses to surround herself with. So she's got a very optimistic, happy spirit, and this is a good time for her to think about new projects. This is things that she had in doubt actually have great futures ahead of her, and she's actually thinking a little too small, and she needs to get out. She needs to get over herself and get out there. Great things will come her way. Interesting. So let's do a card about where is she right now. So we're going to choose a card for the path, and then we're going to choose a card for her progress. So the first card I'm going to pull is the path, and that is what aspect of your life's journey is under discussion. So let's see what we do. And I pulled the Hermit. So this is the search for answers to life problems, but it's also, I always look at the Hermit, and yes, it's about searching for answers, and it's about finding your way, but sometimes you can be the light in that lantern. You can be the guide. So take your time making decisions and listen to advice, but let others follow you. Follow your heart, not the crowd. And I think that for my little Tiffany Roz here, absolutely. And it's funny because she just texted me that she loves the Hermit. So where is she in her progress? Well, this is your indicator. So this is where you are. So we're going to take a look at this. If you're the same, if you're staying on track, if you're progressing, and maybe there's questions that we need to ask ourselves after we pull this card. And what did I pull? Oh, well, I pulled another major arcana card. And if she loves the Hermit, I'm going to suppose that she really loves the Lovers. Physical beauty, beautiful soul, beginning of the romance. Romance doesn't necessarily mean a love affair. Romance can be, you could love your job, you could love your career, you could love your calling. So it's a period of good times. So, but it's also about making decisions. So maybe there's an important decision that somebody has to make there. Especially if it keeps coming up, I would say it's more about a decision. But when we get two cards in the progress that are both in the same suit, or in this case, both being major arcana, you might think about are you staying on track? Maybe we're not moving forward. I don't know. Things are changing around you, and I look at it. You've got two big changes coming into where you are. Big events coming up. I think maybe I was right. Maybe you're thinking too small. Maybe you need a staff. Maybe you need something else. I think that it's a good time to figure things out. So let's look at what Miss Tiffany's strengths are. I'm going to pull those cards back into my deck, and we're going to mix up again. In case you're wondering how I can do this, I usually have a headset on. Today I don't, but I do the poker shuffle. I mashed them all up into beginning. So what do we have for her strengths? Well, I'm going to pull 3 cards. Again, it's all about the majors for Miss Tiffany Roz. Interesting. I pulled Justice, the 9 of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Again, her majors. Major, if we remember last week, we talked about major being big, and arcane is events. So big events, big change. So, okay. So with Justice, it's about personal integrity. It's about fairness. It's about responsibility for your actions. So it's about being decisive and moving forward. So I think that's a great strength to have. The 9 of Pentacles, it's money and possessions are safe if you're cautious and disciplined. Watch out for financial interests. Rely on yourself, on your own instincts. Again, don't trust all those people who think they know what's best, because at the end of the day, you do. Hanged Man. Card of contradictions. Confusing time ahead. So this is about opposites. So do what's opposite maybe of what you're being led to do, and maybe rethinking things. Can be also a card of a big move, or trying to, I always like this card, and I used to say this to my kids all the time, change your attitude or change your address. So maybe there is a change in attitude or an ideal that needs to be sacrificed to get that success. But it's funny, we pulled a number of cards for Tiffany, and they all seem to have a lot of major arcana for her. Wonder why. Wonder what's going on in her life that she's not sharing with the rest of us. So let's see what weaknesses are. This might be the scary part, because sometimes we don't see ourselves as weak in areas, and it shows up that we are. Interesting that the first card I pulled would be the Hanged Man again. And then we've got the 2 of Wands and the 4 of Cups. So again, it's interesting, but because the Hanged Man is about contradictions. So absolutely, it can be about confusion, and confusion is a weakness. Maybe not seeing the path for the trees. So maybe you're still trying to take control of the situation rather than just let it flow. Leave things alone. What will be, will be. And then that 2 of Wands. Well, how can growth and personal power be a weakness? Well, if you let your ego get in the way of things, absolutely, it can be a weakness. So maybe it's about committing energy to new projects. It can also be about travel. And maybe it says creative ideas are needed for success. Maybe you're not thinking outside the box anymore. Miss Tiffany, I don't know what to say. Okay. It's funny, she's sent me this little message. Yes, she's coming to meet me, but I'm sure it's to meet me on my plane tonight while I take off to England. I also pulled the 4 of Cups for her. and it's about being dissatisfied, and you're focusing too much on the material and not on the really important things of your life, which is the emotional, the spiritual. It is a time of needing more in your life. So it's also a card of depression and being self-absorbed. I don't really think that applies. But if you want to find the answers to happiness, take action. You're the only one who can find your own true happiness. And I guess that's true enough. So these are some of the ways that tarot can help you out in finding your life's purpose or your life's bliss. The interesting thing with tarot is it doesn't matter what the layout is. It's the questions that you ask that become more important. So if you do a 3-card layout, it can be a past, present, future. It can be a body, mind, and soul or spirit, or it can be just finding your strengths or finding your weakness. It can also be influences you and how you influence others. When I do coaching, it's one of the things I like to ask people, how do you think that people influence you? And then more importantly, how are you influencing the ones around you? And sometimes when we do these basic exercises, doing them every day and seeing how the answers change, and journaling is great. To this day, I pull a card every day and I journal about it. And if I'm really smart, sometimes I even Facebook it. I'm not always that smart. But how about using the tarot for a relationship? Maybe finding out where you are. And maybe it's about finding out where you are and in the relationship. So, again, wanting to know about an ex-boyfriend, if you put yourself as the significator, meaning the person and your another card as the partner or possible partner, then you can put those in, and the cards that are closer to you might be things that you need to work on, and the cards that are closer to your partner would be what they need to work on, and the cards in between might be what you need to overcome or accomplish together. So, or maybe it's if you're looking at yourself and you've pulled, say, the King of Cups, and that's me in this spread. So the cards to the left of me might show the stages that I passed through to get through where I am now, and the cards between myself and my partner are what I need to overcome and accomplish, and the cards to the right of my partner show where our path is taking us. So it's all about where we are and what our journey is, and everyone's different. So remember that. We're not all the same. Everybody's a little bit different. And don't forget that you can get a hold of me at www.bettyjaneware.com or at bettyjaneware@me.com. I am on Facebook at Betty Jane Ware 1, and I am on Skype as well. But if you get in touch with me on Skype, please mention Blog Talk or something so that I know who you are. As I've mentioned, I am going to England today, and I'm really excited. I've got a jam-packed 2 weeks planned where I land, and I visit my very favorite occult shop in London called Atlantis Bookshop, which is right down the road from the British Museum, and a planned lunch with a friend from Toronto at the pub where Aleister Crowley used to hang out with his Crowleys. Maybe a quick pop into the British Museum to see the Dr. John Dee exhibit. And he used to be the astrologer to Queen Elizabeth I, so it's always worth a trip in to see what they've added, new and exciting. And then I'm off to Glastonbury, and of course I will pass through Stonehenge on the way there and see all the changes. I've been very blessed in my travels to and from the UK that I have been able to wander around the Stonehenge in the morning and in the evening. There's something about being in the stones at sunrise that's absolutely magical, and being able to take part in a ritual with like-minded people, it's probably one of the most magical, inspirational things I've ever done. And then I've also been able to go around the stones at sunset with my husband and the Archdruid of Glastonbury at the time, and just learning some more history and some more of the myths and legends that surround those stones. Your trip, we managed to grab some of the oak moss that had fallen to the ground from the stones, because you're not really allowed to touch them. And we gathered a whole bunch of it, and we came out of it with a Ziploc baggie full of it, stuffed into our jacket, because you're not allowed to take anything out with you. And coming home to Canada with it, I made a bunch of ancestors' candles using it. And when we did our Samhain ritual that year, we gave away ancestors' candles, which had cowrie shells and oak moss and some cinnamon and various things associated with the ancestors. We gave these away as part of our Samhain ritual, and our crone presented these to people as they walked up to her and told her something that they wanted to leave behind that year. And it was a very powerful ritual, and it's the one I use as an example in my book, Connecting with Witchcraft. It's so if you've had a chance to read the book or order it, a very appropriate ritual for what's coming up this time in the next few weeks. Anyways, after I pass through Stonehenge, I'll be in Glastonbury. So this time on Wednesday morning, I'll be in Glastonbury, sitting in the middle of the Abbey, meditating or journeying or pathworking. And it's one of my favorite places to go and reconnect with what I need in my life. We all have that place that sometimes it is a church or a cemetery or wherever. For me, I just happen to have to get on a plane and fly 7 hours to find that place. After a few days in Glastonbury, I'm going up to my friend in Bury St. Edmunds, and we are going to see a haunted village, which sounds like a lot of fun. So I can't wait for all these. And then I'm going to be speaking about tea leaf reading at a tarot conference in London, and then back home. So it's a very jam-packed 2 weeks. And we do have another caller. It's caller number 678. So whenever she's ready, caller 678, please.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. My name is Gina.
Hi, Gina. How can I help?
Okay, well, I have two quick questions, really quick. First, I met someone yesterday while I was doing my gig, a creative gig that I have on the side. And I would like to know, what do you feel about this person, or like the connection?
Okay.
Because I don't know if I will see him again or what.
Okay. That at this point, that it was a good connection. I'm not sure if it's forever. I think it was a learning experience. I don't want to say healing. I want to use the word learning. It feels like it's, I don't think they're meant to be in your life a long time. I think it's a very short time thing, but it's time for you both to learn from each other. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, because the only thing like we connected with the fact that we've been divorced, and it is very similar how it ended. It was kind of similar. Mm-hmm. So I know that we was connected in that area as well, and I was very comfortable talking to him. Yeah, and I think that was vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I didn't know if I would cross, him again or whatever. So, I mean, if I do, that'd be, great. I could still talk. And just, even if it's just friends, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is meant to be a romantic interlude. I really think it's about, it's not healing, it's about learning. It's about sharing similar experiences and memories, good and bad, but it was a comfort to you, I think, too. But about also really releasing the negative and moving forward.
Okay. That's fine or whatever. And my other second question was, I had an interview last Friday, and I just want to see what you pick up from there.
An interview? What kind of job was it?
It was for working with the elderly population, but more of a social work feel to it.
Okay. I'm not seeing this one happen for you. I think that there's something else coming, but this isn't the one. Sorry. I think that you've got something else to battle before you quite get offered the job. I think you're probably the best person for the job. I'm almost wondering if you're overqualified. It just doesn't seem to be the right fit somehow.
Okay.
So
and you feel something else is coming.
Absolutely.
Is it more in the social work field or is something different?
I think it's something a bit different. I think it's about making changes right now. So I think there's some changes that need to happen, and then that will work for you. But I do think that there is good things coming for you. And because I've been working a little bit with tarot today, what I did was I just pulled a card for you, and I pulled the World, which is a period of great happiness and positivity coming. So it's when things start to fall into place for you.
Oh, yeah. I definitely need that.
so
this is, yes.
Achieving them. So, yeah. It can also mean unexpected money, too. So
That's true. Because it's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's kind of like, okay, I'm not saying I'm stressed, but it worries me at times. And I just try to be positive, just have a brighter outlook of life. And it just seems like everything I want to pile at one time. I'm like, geez.
Absolutely.
I get a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I get the overwhelmingness, but I have to tell you, with pulling that card, the World, this is really time. Like, go out there with a smile on your face because good things are coming.
Finally, huh?
Yeah, fine. And you deserve this. You deserve this.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So I think that everybody deserves a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. So I'm really always happy when at the end of any reading we see that spark of positivity. Don't forget, my website is www.bettyjaneware.com, or you can follow me on Facebook at Betty Jane Ware. And my email is bettyjaneware@me.com. 416-749-0996 is my number, and I am always happy to speak to people. And again, you can also find me on Skype, Betty Jane Ware, and just make sure that you put on there that it's Blog Talk Radio, because apparently I'm a magnet for unattached men on Skype, or maybe they attached, I don't know. I think my lesson for today would have to be, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So really watch those things and look within. I think that a lot of times we have the answers within ourselves, and we just don't always have the confidence to make it move forward. I don't know how many times this week I've seen people that know what they want to do, they just don't know how to make it happen. And actually, when I speak to them, they actually do know how to make it happen. They just have tremendous amounts of self-doubt. So it's about having the courage of your convictions and being able to move forward. And sometimes we know that the best things that come our way require a leap of faith. So I'm pulling a card right now for today's card. This is always a challenge because I never know what I'm going to get, and things can always be a little chaotic, especially when you're getting ready to go on a plane. So the card I pulled for today for myself was the Seven of Cups. Here you go. This is a card about focusing. It tells you that you need to structure yourself or have a little bit of discipline. So all those thoughts, just because it comes into my mind does not mean it needs to come out of my mouth, but at least I don't Facebook it. So it means that when you get the Seven of Cups, things may be a little clouded. We're not seeing things clearly. We might really be misinterpreting things that are about to happen or the reality of the situation. Just because we want it doesn't mean that it's healthy for us or that we can make it happen. Sometimes things don't work, and sometimes there's a reason for that. There are lots of options out there, but we have to learn how to recognize the right ones. Just because we get offered 17 chocolate bars doesn't mean that we should choose any of them or all of them. It's also going to mean that there is some sort of unexplainable event. Well, in my life, that's just about every day. So who can explain why the sky is blue? I'm sure there's a scientific explanation, but it doesn't always go. And I'm going to be going on a bit of a journey of self-discovery over the next 2 weeks, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope that everybody takes that time to do it as well. I know that next week my husband's doing the show, so all things occult with my husband. And I challenge everybody to phone in next week and tell him it's Dave from Canmore. Only if you're Canadian do you recognize that as a silly reference to a radio show that was in the early 80s, and Dave from Canmore always called in and said, "Hi, this is Dave from Canmore," and it was quite interesting. And he's going to be ready to answer your questions on just about anything, and I will be leaving him a deck of tarot cards, so make him pull a card for you and explain what he thinks it means. It should be interesting if nothing else. So let's get back to a little bit of coaching. Achieve my dreams. What steps should I take? So let's see. The first step, where am I now? Ooh, I've chosen the Hierophant. Okay. Well, this isn't exactly my favorite card, but if this is me right now, I must guess I'm a little scared because it tells me, the Hierophant tells me that I'm well suited for a career in education, medicine, or religion. They all sound like they'd be really stuffy jobs. But increased knowledge is always fun. Spiritual growth is always fun. Maybe, getting together with a team for contentment, bending to authority to do what is expected. That is so not me. But maybe choosing to be what I am and not what somebody else wants me to be. So what is the first step I should take? Well, I got the Seven of Pentacles, so let's see how that is going to affect it. It's a turning point. It's time to take inventory, usually financial, but it's about taking time to assess progress towards goals and plans. So maybe it's about changing direction if I need to and choosing low-risk investments. I think that's a good way to think and to share. I have to share some of the projects that I have coming up with me at this point in time, too. And more details will be on my website over the next couple of weeks. What you are going to see there over the next few weeks is a series of classes, and it's going to be the start of my year and a day witchcraft program. And that should be up there sometime next week. So, yes, you will be working to learn the basics of the craft. And, yes, it does take a year and a day. And we are also going to be offering the 78-week tarot program. And then, yes, 78 cards in the tarot. So can you imagine why there's a 78-week thing? It seems like long, but realistically it's less than 2 years. And it will probably be a little longer than 78 weeks when we get it all said and done. These are going to be things that you can choose. Instead of a huge financial outlay, these are things that you can do they're by the week. Also, I'm going to be doing a witchcraft boot camp in Salem in the spring, so that's something that the plans are underway with. And this camp will be held at one of the local stores, and there'll be some time in there for shopping, but it's going to be a weekend class or workshop. Also, what's coming up is time to meet your inner goddess, and that's going to be creating sacred space and moving on to learn what makes you tick and learn how to really and truly make yourself happy. And these are things that are coming up in the new year. Also, for those people who are in Toronto, I do have my psychic cafes that run monthly, and the next one is tarot. It's basically an introduction to tarot, so bring your cards out and be prepared to learn some things. And we're doing a numerology one coming up, and connecting with your spirit guides is also coming up. In the new year, I'm going to be doing a full moon magic workshop, and they will be done by, the third Monday of every month, and we're going to be learning a little magical something. It could be a spell, it could be making puppets, it could be working with not magic, but every month will be different. And then they will be doing meditation Wednesdays at my house as well. So these are things that I'll be doing in the new year. And, of course, please go to my website for all that information at www.bettyjaneware.com, or you can email me at bettyjaneware@me.com. And also subscribe to my newsletter, please. It's on my website, and it's got things going on, what's coming up. In the end of October, I am in Kingston on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, and I will be doing the Psychic Fair at the Ambassador Hotel in Kingston. And remember, as always, that should you book and prepay for a 1-hour reading with me at the Psychic Fair, I do pay your way in, so that means I do discount your reading by the cost of your admission. I also have the Psychic Fair in Mississauga at the International Center on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of October, and again, that is at the International Center in Mississauga. And then the first weekend in November, I am in Orangeville at the Psychic Fair in Orangeville, and you can see the website, psychicfairs.org, for more information on that event. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's a new venue for me. That's not very far from home, so that should be a lot of fun. And then I have something coming up on the weekend of the 12th, but I can't remember what it is, and that's too far away to really worry about. I hope everyone is looking forward to the end of the month, and the end of the month, of course, is October 31st, and that is the Witch's New Year. So, yes, I will be doing something a little special with it. Not quite sure what yet. It's going to be the first time I've been home and on my own in years, not working, so that's going to be a good one. And remember, Halloween, the 31st of October, is the day of the year when the spirit world and the physical world, the veils are at their thinnest. That's a really good time to get a psychic reading or a mediumship reading done. So I would go ahead and book in really quick, because I'm going to tell you now that I usually book really far in advance, and I have kept that day open on purpose. And I'm not working a full day. I'm taking a little bit of extra time off because I am not working a fair or event away from home, so I will not be working a full day. And unlike some of the other people out there, my prices don't change for that day. And I know a lot of people that do up their prices for that Samhain date. Mine do not. So I want to leave everybody today with a thought or a promise or a card. And I want everyone to have an awesome, awesome day. And I want everyone to remember that we can only design the life that we want. And if we don't take action on it, doesn't matter how many tools or how much we want it, we really need to do things to make it happen. Even when you make a wish on your birthday, you blow out the candles, you take action, and you go from there. Okay? So it's not a horrible thing. We have to make things happen for ourselves. But today's card, the last card for today, is Judgment. So this is about a legal or contract decided in your favor. So it's about reconciliation and forgiveness. So if somebody has wronged you, forgive them. And if you've hurt somebody else, maybe it's time for you to forgive them. It's about finding a new career. It's about time to take charge and it's about a significant turnaround for yourself. And it is a major arcana, so it's a big event. So that's good to know. And I think that's a great card to leave off on today. When I'm back, we will be discussing, I will have a special guest. Her name is the Oracle of Delphi, and she is going to be giving us some of her own wisdom as well. Next week, it will be my husband, Pat, with all things occult. And the week after, I am going to be having a show at all as I am in transit. So the 17th, there will be no show. I want to thank everyone for calling, and my phone number is 416-749-0996. And please connect with me on my website at www.bettyjaneware.com, or you can email me at bettyjaneware@me.com. Or again, I'm on Facebook. I'm Betty Jane Ware. Or Skype. I'm Betty Jane Ware. Can't get away from it. It's who I am. So I'd like to thank everyone for calling and have an awesome, awesome day. Be on my way off to the UK, which promises to be sunny. I know it's not going to dare be cloudy for that trip. And I want everyone to get out there and make their dreams happen. We can manifest But until we put those thoughts and plans into work, it's not going to work for us. So I want to wish, and all those Canadians, have a really happy Thanksgiving next weekend. www.bettyjaneware.com. Thank you very much, and have an awesome afternoon.
Napa Auto Parts wants to know, what makes today's new cars so smart? Is it the questionably useful Wi-Fi connectivity? Could it be the giant, confusing touchscreens you should probably stop playing with while driving? Or perhaps voice-activated everything that never seems to listen very well? The answer, of course, is none of the above. Click the banner to see the smartest car available today.
Imagine a country where jobs are plentiful and families can get ahead. A country where veterans are treated with dignity and respect. A country so powerful, terrorism is in retreat. Our families safe. A country run by a leader whose career was built on success. A leader who isn't beholden to special interests, but to the people themselves. Make America great again. Donald Trump for president.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.